Hi, this is Kevin for Passion for the Word. Got a really cool video today. We're going to look at Psalm 22, which is a song, one of the Psalms by David, somewhat prophetic. In this Psalm, he's actually writing from a position of Jesus' viewpoint on the cross. Some really cool stuff here. We have covered a lot of this, a lot of points in this video. Not the particular one we're going to be covering here, but we did cover some of them in one of the videos that we covered on the crucifixion. Can't remember the name of it, but we'll put them at the end so you can go to them if you want to get more on Psalm 22. As always, we still have the t-shirts available. I'm not wearing one right now, but you've seen them. If not, look at some of our other videos and you'll see the t-shirts that we have available. Any donation over $20 gets you one. Any donation over $35 gets you two. Any questions, email them to us. If you want me to come speak at your church, send me an email, shoot me an email, message, whatever. Got a lot of ways to get a hold of me. YouTube channel, hit the like button, hit the share button, notification bell, do all, you know what to do. Psalm 22, we're going to jump right in. Start at the beginning just so we get it all in context. To the chief musician upon Ajaleth Shahar, a psalm of David. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? So right off the bat, these are the words that Jesus said while on the cross, written roughly, I believe, 1,000 years before that. O my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and am not silent, but thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praise of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee, they trusted that thou deliverest them. They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted thee and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. Now this is the verse that we're really going to dig into. But I am a worm. Now, like I said, this is a psalm of David, but he's writing it as Christ. So this is essentially, in a sense, Christ saying, I am a worm. Doesn't make much sense in our English word for worm. Now, when you see this, there's two Hebrew words for worm. The other one was something like hama, or so, I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's like an earthworm. This worm would be more like a larva of a beetle or a bug of that sort, or a maggot, that kind of worm. Let's look into the word. The word is tola. It has two meanings. Worm, like I said, more as a maggot or a larval form of an insect. The other use of the word, the other meaning is the colors crimson or scarlet. This word is used 43 times, 35 times referring to the color, 8 to the larva. This is the word used for the worms that ate the leftover manna in Exodus, as well as the word used for the worm that smote the gourd in the book of Jonah. This was the same color scarlet called for in the tabernacle, that the certain cloths were this color scarlet. This worm is actually where they acquired the dye to make the cloth scarlet or crimson in color. So this is where they get the dye, which is why this word means both worm and scarlet or crimson. It's the way we'll get into how they get the dye out of the worm. This insect has an interesting lifestyle. I found two different Latin names for it. I'm not sure which one is the correct one. I've been into a lot of different types of animals, and Latin names change over time. Sometimes they'll restructure the where they think it's placed in the Linnaean chart, and they'll change the name of something. I've got either Coccus ilicis or Kermes vermillo as and I may be botching those pronunciations, but those are the two names that I've gotten for this particular worm. The mother worm attaches herself to a piece of wood when she's getting ready to lay eggs. And she attaches herself so strongly to that piece of wood that to remove her is to destroy her. Once she's attached to it, you can't take her off. Then she lays her eggs underneath her body and secretes this dye. And this dye will actually color the young for the rest of their life. Now, the eggs hatch completely under her body. When they're born, and her body leaks the dye out, and then they start feeding off of her body. They literally start eating off of their mom. Not like puppies nursing off. I mean, they're eating her flesh while she's protecting them. After the babies grow to where they can find or fend for themselves, they leave and the mother dies. She loses her color shortly thereafter, and her body turns into a white wax. So she goes from being crimson, 3 days later being white. Psalm 22:14, just 8 verses later. Yeah. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. Now, they've done clinical studies on the effects of crucifixion on the body. And one of the things they found is that hanging on the cross, it would literally pull your bones out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. Her body, after she dies, turns into secretes a white wax. The heart is like wax. They also find out that in the process of crucifixion, that happens. We'll make sure we put a link to the end. It's a clinical examination of the crucifixion, I think is what we titled it. And it'll cover some of the details in this. Also interesting, in Isaiah 1:18, come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. And wool was generally hoped for to be white at the time. So we got going from crimson or blood to white. Jesus said, and as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. The greatest act of this worm is giving her body to her children. To accomplish her goal, she has to die. She becomes their food. She goes from red or blood color, crimson, to white. This is the worm that Jesus says he is when he says, I am a worm, in Psalm 22:6. It's just one of those little things. You got to dig into the Hebrew to get the meaning of this. In the English, we completely lose it because we don't have that double use of the word tola that they do. We have just worm, and worm just doesn't mean all this to us. But I think there's just so much there. I am a worm, and it just kind of throws you. But when you dig into this, and I'm not the one that found this. To the best of my knowledge, Henry Morris, in the Study Bible, he touches on this, and I've seen a couple others that have touched on it. I haven't found anybody that touched on it before him, but just I think it's a phenomenal teaching, and just one of those little nuggets that's tucked into the Bible. Thank you, and God bless.